I'd like to call the Corcoran Parks and Trails Commission meeting of April 15th, 2021 to order. Roll call. Meister is here. Anderson.
Here.
Christensen.
Here.
Dugan.
Here.
Hoffman.
Here.
Nybo.
Here.
And Streller.
Here.
Awesome. Okay. Pledge of Allegiance.
And let me get the screen up. Oh, it's moving really slow. Oof.
Brad's got one.
There you go, Brad.
Awesome. Okay.
All right.
I
Pledge
Allegiance
to
to
the
the
flag
flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic
and to the
for which it
republic
stands,
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with
with
liberty.
liberty and justice for all. Fabulous.
We keep
Okay.
doing this, we'll get that down pretty good.
Yeah, we're not very in sync, are we?
Show up for practice. Okay, agenda approval. Anyone like to make any amendments to the agenda this evening?
Chair Meister, it's up to you. I left you a brief message. If you wanted to address the planning items earlier for the applicants, although I don't see any of the applicants. Oh no, one is on, Beth is on right now. So it's up to you if you want to hit the planning items earlier and do the memorial bench afterwards for those applicants, but it's up to you.
Okay, so move A after C. Is that right, Brad?
If that's acceptable to you.
Yes, it is. Okay. All right, with those changes, I'll accept a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to,
Anderson.
There we go. I'll second.
Thanks.
Okay. Roll call vote. Anderson,
Aye.
Christensen,
Aye.
Dugan,
aye.
Hoffman,
Aye.
Meister says aye, Nybo,
Aye.
and Streller.
Aye.
Okay, approval of the minutes of the February 18th Parks and Trails meeting. Any questions or comments on those?
Good job, Jessica.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, if there are no comments, I'll accept a motion for the approval of the February 18th minutes.
A motion
Motion.
for the minutes. Something.
I will second.
Thank you.
Roll
Here we
call.
go.
No, everybody hesitates and then, okay. Roll call vote. Anderson,
Aye.
Christensen,
Aye.
Dugan,
Aye.
Hoffman,
Aye.
Meister says aye, Nybo,
Aye.
and Streller.
Aye.
Okay. Open forum. Public comment opportunity.
So it does look like we have some folks who are on. Actually, we have quite a few. Now would be the opportunity for anyone if they'd like to speak. You can raise your hand by hitting *9 if you're on a phone. Otherwise, under reactions, you can raise your hand if you're on a computer or a tablet. Oh, and it looks like we do have someone, a Mary Alberts. Chair, do you want to? I can unmute them, or I can ask
Okay.
them to unmute if you would be interested.
Yes, I am. Do I need to do anything?
No.
Okay.
All right, Mary Alberts, you should be good to go. If you want to turn on your camera, you can do that. Otherwise, if you'd like to leave it off and just speak, that's up to you.
Okay, can you hear me? So I can't
Yes.
hear you though. Okay.
Yes, sorry.
So this is my wife's computer, so I'm going to be speaking. And this, I'm going to be talking about the rezoning of the trail on the PUD for Cook Lake Highlands. Is this the time to talk about that?
And before we get too far, I'm going to have you state your name and then your address as well.
Okay, my name is Lynn Alberts. I live at 7490 Fur Lane. Okay,
Yes.
okay. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. This is a difficult and unique property to develop. For that reason, I think everyone needs to think outside the box. Okay, I don't think that was me.
It wasn't me.
Okay, somebody's thinking outside the box. The natural resource inventory map identifies this property as a high quality maple basswood natural community and a rare species occurrence on this property. There are sandhill cranes that come back to this property every year. There are also turkeys, pheasants, owls, ducks, geese, deer, many varieties of songbirds, hummingbirds, and even coyotes. I would request that the trail not be built through the woods as it is proposed. By building this trail through the woods, you would destroy most of the trees in the process because there is a 20-foot easement required for the trail. We are trying to save as many trees as possible on this high quality natural community property. Why not develop a trail that actually goes somewhere? I would propose that the trail be built next to the buffer zone by Cook Lake. By placing the trail next to the buffer zone, there would be very few trees that would be destroyed. This would allow people on the trail to have a beautiful view of Cook Lake and Rush Creek Golf Course as they walk along the trail. I would suggest that the trail start at the end of the access road that is on the north side of Bass Lake Crossing and runs down toward Cook Lake. The starting point of this trail would be 261 feet east of the intersection of Bass Lake Crossing Trail and the access road. This trail could run east towards Cook Lake, then turn south and follow the buffer zone around Cook Lake. The woods will remain on the west side of the trail as it follows south. It would then turn east and go around the lift station and meet the access road to the lift station and then connect to the trail in Maple Grove. This trail could be similar to the trail that goes around Rice Lake in Maple Grove. This is a beautiful trail around Rice Lake that people walk, run, and bike. The developer could be given park dedication for credit for the trail that runs north of Cook Lake Highlands. In summary, I would request that the proposed trail not be allowed to be built through the woods. Please protect the trees and build the trail next to the buffer zone around Cook Lake. This would be a beautiful trail on the south side of Cook Lake, and you would feel like you're walking in a rural area. Thank you again for your time and thinking outside the box. Thank you.
You.
Thanks, Lynn.
I'm missing it here. Missing my papers.
It looks like Steve Mueller would also like to speak, Chair.
Okay.
Steve, if you would like to, I'll ask you to unmute, and then if you want to turn on your camera or leave it off, it's up to you, but you have the floor.
Thank you. My name is Steve Mueller. I'm 7474 Fur Lane. I just wanted to just kind of reiterate what Lynn just talked about. You know, without seeing the trail, it's sometimes difficult to convey the appropriate visual image and context. So that road, that 261-foot extension is right there now. And they call it an access road, but that 261-foot extension is right connected to our trail and then goes down to Cook Lake. So that's a trail he's talking about. And he mentioned the access road that goes down towards the lake, but in reality, that is the official name, but everybody thinks that's part of the trail. The access road is 10 feet and it's asphalt. Our trail is 8 feet, only 2 feet smaller, and it's also asphalt. Furthermore, on the access road, there's even a nice little sitting area with a park bench, shrubs, trees, and even mulch. So you can see why people think this is just part of the trail and will walk the 261-foot extension when walking the trail. So if people think it's a trail, it looks like our trail, let's treat that extension toward Cook Lake as a trail. So if you look at the proposal, it again makes no sense to create a mini trail around a holding pond and cut down the trees. Why not in the future do it correctly? Tap into that extension whereby you would walk next to Cook Lake and then follow the tree line over towards Maple Grove. Thank you for letting me speak.
Okay. Is there anyone else, Jessica?
I don't see anyone. If anyone else is interested in speaking, again, if you're on a phone, it's going to be *9. Otherwise, on the reactions button, if you hit raise hand.
Okay. No one else. Okay. Do we discuss this later on when the item comes up?
I think last time we established it was kind of up to you if you guys wanted to hear the whole gist of everything first and then go into public comment, or we could do public comment first. Obviously, this time we took public comment first, but if you'd like, I can pull up the slides and we can kind of go through it. And then from there, you guys can discuss if that works.
Okay. Does
Works
that
for me.
work for everyone?
Yeah, I think that would help to
Okay.
get it all in
Yeah.
context.
Yes.
All right,
Okay.
give me one
Thanks,
second.
Jessica.
Like I said, it's a little slow. Oh man, apparently really slow. It's totally frozen. Give me one second. Oh, the whole thing froze. We might end up going a different route with this. Bear with me. I might just pull up Kendra's PowerPoint itself.
What page of the agenda or the document is this on, this actual trail area?
So
Yeah.
you're going to be in 7A. So it's the Cook Lake Highlands. And then if you want to take a peek, it's the backside of the first 11 by 17 page. Shows the trail. And
This one?
yes, that's the one I find easiest as far as, I mean, it's in color, so that helps for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I have Kendra's PowerPoint. So let's see if this works. Okay, so Cook Lake Highlands, if you recall, it was at the meeting in February. Beth Husted was the one who she kind of talked after Brad and I gave a quick overview. This is the natural resources map that both Lynn and Steve were talking about. It's that property that has the cutout for the, oh God, I want to say water
Station.
station. Thank you. I'm kind of shooting from the hip with someone else's PowerPoint, so bear with me.
Yeah.
On the comp plan, we are looking right. Oh my goodness.
There's Cook Lake down in by the
Yes.
red line.
It's,
Yes,
yeah, it's, yep.
thank you. The giant red line usually helps. So we're looking down here. There was no park that was set there by you guys during the planning for the 2040 comp plan. This is an overview. They took out the apartment complex and have rearranged a little bit to keep that trail as an off-road trail, as you guys had recommended to council. They are proposing to dedicate Outlet C, so right past the, oh, right past here. Only the red area shown here would count as usable. Like I said, there's no parks in this area shown on the comp plan. There is a pond over here that, for obvious reasons, would not count. The public trail, at this point, staff is stating that there should be a connection from the cul-de-sac to the public trail. So that's just an additional thing that you guys would make a recommendation on whether or not you agree with staff. Park dedication required at 17% of the net pre-development area for medium density land. It requires 3.63 net acres or cash in lieu. Outlet C is 9.61 gross acres, but part is that stormwater pond and wetland. The new trail located in Outlot C would qualify for park dedication credit if Outlot C isn't taken as park dedication. Park dedication is recommended for full cash in lieu of land, which is estimated at $421,938. Final park dedication would be counted or would be calculated at the final plat though. So that could change a little bit. You guys would be asked to make recommendations regarding the public trail location, making that connection from the cul-de-sac to the existing trail, as well as the dedication of the public park. So accepting all, part, or none of Outlot C, and giving some or partial credit, or you could just accept the cash in lieu of land. And that's kind of the gist of it,
And
which
Chair
seems very
Meister-
quick.
Yeah, Chair Meister, I think what I'd recommend here, if it's okay with you, we do have the applicant online, Beth Husted. And I think she could probably be the best person to respond, at least to start with, to some of the good comments that were made from those joining us regarding the ability to align the trail differently, if that's okay with you.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
Madam Chair, can you? They're freezing. I'm wondering if you all can hear me.
Off and on.
Off and on. Oh boy. Okay. I
Now we're off.
Can you hear me?
I can now, but we couldn't before. When do we go live again, Brad?
Yeah, right. And I don't know if it's us or what. They're obviously having some technology issues on our own things. Beth, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
No, not anymore.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. What I was trying to say is that the trail being placed in that location, and I'm not opposed to it, moving it. So I just can't visualize. There was no things. They would like to have a trail along the lake, and if that's possible, what having
We lost you, Beth.
Maybe we could have Beth call in. Is that possible?
I've never had this happen.
Beth, if you want to call in, I can send in the chat the phone number as well as the meeting ID. That might be a little easier. That way it's over the phone versus trying to use the internet connection.
While we wait, can you go back to that large map and show us where the current trail is? I just want to make sure I understand that right, if that's possible.
Yes, and I might just pull it up from the packet materials. So just give me 1 second. Oops. Unless this is the last one. We're just gonna zoom in on this one. The PowerPoint works now, guys, just so you know.
Good. Yay.
All right, so, okay. This is the trail that came to you guys last time. And I believe this is the trail that they're talking about. Brad, is that kind of your understanding?
You know, I was a little confused myself as well. I'm wondering if, with this map up, if either, was it
Lynn
Lynn
or
or
Steve?
Steve wanted to help describe what they were talking about. I couldn't quite, I was scrambling to pull items up when they were talking.
Well, weren't they saying Cook Lake? The trail would go around Cook Lake?
And it looks like Steve raised his hand. Chair, do you want to?
Okay,
And-
Steve, the chair recognizes Steve Mueller. If you want to unmute Steve. There you go.
Okay, if you look, and Lynn, clarify that I'm right, if you look, you had it pointed on the top, right there, that blue trail, that's what she's planning
The
on
blue
putting it.
trail or the
No,
gray trail?
That gray trail right there. Right, Lynn, that's the one we're talking about? That she had proposed looping that in. And that's the one we're talking about, why loop that in there?
Oh,
And where would you like to see it go, Steve?
We like to, no, the trail goes down to the end of that gray. If you go to the very top of that gray, right there, that's where that road is, that 261-foot road. So
Okay.
why not just let the trail go down there along the existing trail, and then in the future, just tap in and run the trail, you know, next to Cook Lake, along the trees out to Maple Grove.
Can you
It
hear?
just
can you-
doesn't seem to be any point to that little loop in there through the trees.
Can you hear
So-
me?
yes. So can you draw where you want the trail to go?
I'm the one driving, so he
Okay.
can't take control
Oh.
Do
of
you see
the.
the do you see the blue buffer zone there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that you can't go any farther than that. That's the buffer zone. So if you ran the trail along that blue buffer zone all the way around and to the south, and then turn east, and then go between the lift station and Applewood Point, and you'd come up to right where the not there. Nope. Go. You're gonna have, that's the land for the lift station.
It's
Go-
off the map.
Oh, I see what
No,
you're saying.
you'd go on and you'd come up between the lift station and Applewood Point, and you tie into that access road for the lift station. Want me to explain
Are you
that again?
talking down here?
Yeah, well, I'm talking about, you say in the blue line, that's basically your trail. But then when it starts turning east, you go in between the lift station and Applewood Point. That's a
Right.
fire lane there.
Kind of to here and then connect
Yep.
to here?
No, keep going over
Through
to the
here.
fire lane. Yep, keep going over and you tie there. And then that fire lane will tie into the 58 units that are in Maple Grove. That's where the trail from Maple Grove is going to come through.
So you're saying scratch the little gray U and just stick with the blue.
Yeah, because of the fact that you're just making a big loop and you're cutting 20 feet of trees all the way through those trees. By going with the buffer zone, you take no trees out hardly at all.
I assume you're talking about the 20-foot easement and then the 8-foot trail that the
Right.
city has for a standard.
Right. But if you came down to the blue line or the buffer line, that's just basically weed canary grass all the way around there. Did I explain it well, or you want me to change, you want me to help run it through you again?
Basically, you'd like to see it run along that buffer line and then
Yeah,
to
if
the.
you ran along the buffer line, you wouldn't take any trees out hardly at all, because you're gonna be down in weed canary grass down there, all the way along that buffer line. And then you cut across between the lift station and Applewood Point and tie into the access road that goes into the lift station. And then that access road comes out to basically Bass Lake Road, but in between there's gonna be a trail from Maple Grove that'll tie into those 58 unit houses.
And Chair, I think we might have Beth joining us via phone.
Okay.
So I will try and find her. It's a lot harder
Okay.
when I'm sharing a screen.
5233.
Right, but she's not popping up on the little tiny versions. Okay, Beth, I'm gonna ask you to unmute, should be *6 on your phone.
Okay, hello everyone. This is Beth Houston. I'm getting a little bit of feedback on my computer. So
I think
are
if you mute
able
the
to hear me?
computer sound, that'll take
I-
the feedback away.
I'm trying to find where why the mute isn't popping up. I can't, because you've got a picture up. I'm not, for some reason, not able to get my mute to pop up. I don't.
The mute from the speaker, I think. So if you look on your keyboard, the mute button there should fix most of the issue, I would imagine.
Oh, geez. Unbelievable. Okay, does that work? Can you hear me?
It sounds better, yes.
Let's try
Okay,
it.
good. Thanks, everyone. Sorry about this. I've never had this happen. I am trying to understand. I think I understand. I was actually focusing on trying to get on this line while the gentleman was talking about the trail. So I do understand, correct me if I'm wrong, that the neighbors are saying they don't see the point in doing that loop, and that there would be too much tree loss. You know, we would still like to give that property as park, and obviously not the pond area, because that will be taken care of by the HOA. But we would like to be able to give the open space and the developable land on the point as park. And we are hoping that it can be, we are not asking for full credit as far as the whole development, not paying for cash park, but we would like to have a partial. And then there would still be cash park fees also paid by the Applewood and the memory care and the daycare. The only concern I would have about the trail going along the buffer, I mean, I think that's great. I had asked that the other trail be able to be moved into the buffer area too, and I think that was something that you were concerned about. But I do think that if we can make something work that is a beautiful trail that adds, that we'd like to do that. And you're talking, the fire lane for United Properties, I believe, is what you're saying you would tie into. We just have to look at the grades and if there's retaining walls that would need to be built and things like that. But I think, you know, we're open to the idea of relocating the trail and making some sense of that. And we do like the idea, or I do like the idea of it tying into the fire lane and then ultimately into the project to the east, because they do have a trail that they would like to connect into, for us to connect into along the lake. And I think it would be a beautiful walk. So that's my thought.
Beth, can you hear me, Beth?
Yes, I can.
That fire lane maintained by the city of Maple Grove then for, you know, snow plowing?
No, the fire lane, good question.
Not the fire lane, the lift station road.
Nope, that is one and the same, just so that you know. The fire lane is the same as the lift station access road. So it would be dual purpose, and it would be maintained by either an agreement with Met Council and United Properties. So it would not be maintained by the city or the city of Corcoran or Maple Grove.
Okay. So your issue would be just your issue would be, how do you get across? Could you run a trail between the lift station and Applewood? Or would you have to come right onto that? Would you have to come onto that fire lane behind Applewood?
I think it's fine. We had proposed, we have talked extensively about having that be a trail, the actual fire lane there, because it's that part of the fire lane. The fire lane is really only for emergency for Applewood for fire. And that's a requirement of Corcoran Fire Department. But it's also then the portion coming from the south straight to the lift station would be used as access probably once or twice a week by Net Council to get to their lift station. But otherwise, that would be, it's a 20 foot or more, but maybe a 25-foot drive. So it's actually, you know, plenty of room to use as a pedestrian and also for access. Yeah, for trail, for the, I think that's something that we would like to see used as a trail for pedestrians.
Well, I think it would be a beautiful sight because you'd feel like you're out in the woods, and you wouldn't see a lot of buildings and stuff, and you'd be able to look at Cook Lake and Rush Creek golf course at the same time.
Right. And I can't tell who I'm talking to.
No, this is Lynn. This is Lynn. I'm Lynn Alberts.
Okay.
Lynn.
Okay. Hi, Lynn.
Okay, I think
Yeah, it's. Go ahead.
we would like to hear from the commissioners as well. So, any comments from any of the commissioners?
Yeah, I have a comment. I'm just looking at Google Maps and looking at the satellite view, and I think I understand what Len is talking about, and it certainly looks like a very reasonable suggestion if I'm understanding what he's suggesting. I don't know if it's possible, Jessica, to pull up Google Maps and go to the satellite view. That might help other people.
I was just working on getting it pulled up. So give me just a second and I can get that ready for you guys.
You can see what he's, Len is suggesting, how going through that wooded area would, would take down a lot of trees.
I actually
members?
I walked the trail today and ran into Lynn, and the area is heavily wooded that he's talking about, and it's like a ravine, I think, too. So to avoid that,
Yeah,
would be
would
a
agree.
big improvement. So,
So here's
all
where
right,
we're
there you go,
going from.
Jessica.
Chairmeister,
Yes.
if I can just jump in, I think just in order to help the commission review this request, I would recommend starting with kind of the main core of, does the city want to add a public space to the parks map in this project? That's the kind of the main level, right? Because if the city decides, you know what, we have our parks plan, we really don't want an extra park amenity in this area, really nothing else matters beyond that. If there's desire, you know what, the applicant has proposed some parkland that, you know, maybe it was good, you know, then more design considerations would be certainly worth discussing. But I think it might be a good idea just to have that guttural, do we want to add a park amenity that's not on our plan whatsoever, that we have to maintain, that we have to spend money to, you know, potentially add amenities and those kinds of things. Just a recommendation.
Okay. Would you recommend we talk about that first? Before
Yeah, I think
any
it's-
trail discussion?
I think that's germane to any further discussion is, do we want it, or do we want to plan a park amenity in this area that's not in our plans? If yes, then all these things matter. If the answer is, you know what, no, we have a significant park system plan just, you know, west of here in downtown, and that's where our resources are. Our park dedication fees don't include anything related to this. So there's certainly, you know, it's not in plan, not saying it shouldn't be, but I think that should be a germane discussion prior to getting to the actual design of it.
Okay. So would you guys be okay if I call roll call for comments? Okay, I'm just gonna start, and just, if you don't have a comment, just say no. And Tom Anderson, do you have any comments about that?
Yeah, I actually have a couple. The last time this plan came through, the trail was going up the little road and to the cul-de-sac and then cutting back over, and there was objection to that plan because it was supposed to be an off-road trail. Yeah, and so I think thank you to the developer for redoing that, so that now that trail is, I think it's the way that it is currently being executed. Is that right? It's that they've just taken some of the backyard of those half a dozen properties and said that, that's now a trail.
Correct. So
that-
it's remaining off-road.
Yeah,
There
it's
it is.
remaining off-road and, it's showing real flexibility on the part of your developer there to do that. I'm sure that will it increase or decrease the value of those lots? That's a whole nother story, but it met the objection of citizens from the last time we revisited this. I went out and looked at the parks plan, and it shows an off-road trail running over and just kind of touching Cook Lake and then headed back over towards 116, back west again. So this would be sort of, yeah, we were right there. Yep, right where your cursor is, just following it exactly pretty well there, Jessica. Good. Right, you see the corner of Cook Lake. If you look at at the photo of like the Google Maps, it's on our map it shows a blue lake, and what it is the wide edge of Cook Lake. There's no open water in Corcoran on Cook Lake. Is that correct, Sharon?
Yeah, it's the buffer mainly.
It's that buffer, yeah.
Mhm.
And I just, I have mixed feelings about taking on parkland. There is no public access to that park, excepting if we were to take this as parkland, excepting by trail. So there's no parking. It's not figured into our costs in terms of developing the park system. It's a very appropriate piece of wooded land, which is really to the plus. That's great. And so I'm sort of two minds of it. It has limited access to Corcoran unless something on the north side happens, unless someday that property just to the north of this will be developed, and there's scheduled to be a trail through there, and that may open up something, but it certainly is not in our plan. If it's not a park, then it remains an outlot. Is that correct?
Well,
Yeah, it would stay an outlot, and as an outlot, it's not going to be developed. That's my understanding of that?
You're correct.
Yeah, and so what do we gain if it's a park rather than if it's an outlot, then it's not the city's responsibility. If it's a park, it is, and that responsibility, I suppose, goes in two different directions. If the homeowners, as an outlot, what sort of development what can happen to that property? Is that I'm not sure.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Yep.
That's such a great question. This is Beth Houston.
Yeah.
That was one of the conversations that the planner, Kendra, and I have had.
Yeah.
That that's a really good point. The one, if the property is dedicated as park, it does assure the city that it will not be developed. And if it's an outlot, that's not necessarily the case.
Okay.
And we would like to dedicate that as park for that reason. And I do think it is a beautiful piece of property. And the reason I thought about the trail was that, it is a pretty, if you were to continue to walk out to the point from I believe the neighbors are calling the access road. That I believe is the access road actually public access is my question. And if so, that does, it does have access to the access road, right? So if, I don't think you want people driving out there necessarily and parking, but it's a beautiful piece of property that would be nice. And I've had comments made to me that it would be nice to have some rural feel as a part of this project. And that's what we were hoping to accomplish. But yes, dedicating it as park would assure that it is not developed in the future.
And since it would be the city's park, we could choose either to put in or not to put in a trail. We could, we could leave it as, well, it's our park. We can do with it what we want. If you're planning on putting in the trail forest, then we'd have to evaluate that. But if you were just going to sketch it in there for us, then that's a different story. So it's complicated. Cook Lake is, we don't have a lot of lakes in Corcoran. And it would be really nice to take advantage of this little sliver of a lake that we've got. So
Okay.
there, how's that for, I'm not sure I clarified anything, but that's sort of where I am on it.
Okay, Phil Christensen, did you have any comments?
Yeah. So I guess as of right now, when it goes up to the north, the trail there, is it just going to end at the edge of the lot until something else happens to the north? That's kind of how it's currently set up.
Right.
Okay. What's up there? Is it just some farmland?
Yeah, I think it's guided low density residential, I believe. So it'd likely be neighborhoods that would continue
Okay.
in that
Okay.
area.
Yeah. So then at some point we probably would connect to it. It sounds like.
Correct. Yes. The plan as it states right now is the trail meandering up between the property lines, and then just kind of jumping in and kind of just touching up to Cook Lake. That would likely happen maybe even north of this within the development coming forward, and then bouncing back a little bit northwesterly to continue this significant off-road trail corridor that goes north-south through the entire community.
Okay. Yeah, this trail looks like it would be a nice trail to walk on. I think it looks great. I like the idea that it's going to connect to a larger trail system. Is it harder to build? It sounds like this might be a little marshy as we get near the lake. Is that going to add to the cost significantly?
Well, Chair, Commissioner Christensen, the request or the consideration of the nearby residents would be a significant cost to build a trail connection around a wetland area. You're talking, probably some soil testing and maybe some corrections. I'm not exactly sure what it would have to pass, but what was being requested by residents would be a significant investment, certainly.
Okay. And then my other comment would be, anything we take for this trail, it reduces the amount of park dedication we receive in cash. And I kind of like the idea of getting cash more often than not, because we already have big plans, right? We have a big central park that the more we can take in cash, we can kind of push it towards that and actually make that happen. As we build out these smaller parks, they're great. We do want those too. But if we do too many of them, then Central Park will never actually happen, right? Because we're going to be spending all our money there. So I think we just keep that in mind. And then as for the gray trail that goes through the woods, I don't like to kill trees, but those are actually my favorite trails to walk on, are the ones that go through the woods. Is there any way to do that with minimizing, damage to the trees? I know there's like a 25 foot buffer I think we need to do. Can we make an exception for that part of the trail? Is that even a possibility?
Chair Meister, would you like me to jump in there?
Yes, please.
You can be thoughtful about it. You're going to kill trees. There's no doubt about it. But I know a few of you took the walk, for example, in the Bellwether Open Space Park, right? And, we marked the trail, what it would be. And we kind of said, geez, that's a good looking tree. Can we go this way instead? And when the installations, are taking place, you will lose some, but you can save the good stuff and still create a corridor. I have no idea what type of trees those are, whether it's buckthorn or the most beautiful oaks in the world.
Gotcha. Okay, so I think that's pretty much all I wanted to say there.
Okay, thanks, Phil.
Yeah,
John,
thank you.
did you have any comments from Florida?
Yeah, I would take the cash and allocate it to City Park.
Okay. Alicia?
Sorry, can I just jump in?
Oh,
with that?
yes.
What do we have an idea of what the cost? So I think this was like 400,000 in total park dedication fees. What do we have any idea what this would reduce that park by? Like, are we down to 350 now, or is
That's
that
a
too
good
much to
question.
ask for right now?
That's a good question. It would be by acreage and a value of that. Jess, in the report, how many acres was it? Was it 3 point something would be required to meet dedication? Is that accurate?
So many buttons on the screen. The ordinance would, I think, 9.61 or gross acre, 9.61 gross acres or 3.83 net acres.
Well, I think that's
That-
the size of the outlot, but isn't there a slide in Kendra in your report that said they would either need to do acreage of X or cash in the amount of 490 something?
Mhm.
Yeah, there was a slide of that.
So I guess to answer that question, just to kind of cross multiply or just kind of think about it, if it's a 4 acre requirement, let's do easy math here. 4 acre requirement and call it $400,000 for every acre we take. That's $100,000 less than cash. That's not accurate, but for kind of in your mind, that's how I would look at it. So, you take an acre or 2 acres maybe, so you can put a little trail loop in, and potentially that's, $200,000 again, maybe it's $100,000, but less of park dedication you get for the greater system.
Okay. All right. Alicia, did you have any comments?
No, I think I'm gonna refrain from that at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Val, how about you?
I'm not thrilled with the park in that area. Not thrilled with it, that's not the point, but I feel like that trail should loop back over towards downtown where we would have more of an open space for kind of our downtown area as planned.
Okay. Judy, any comments?
Yeah, I think that we should take the cash and then just use that for our basic plan that we had for the city. And it just, we get these small parks all over and we have to maintain all this. It's like, and isn't this a senior living place? What are we going to give them, a swing? Just a thought here. Sorry, that's what happens when you guys give me lash. You say all the other stuff.
When you're a senior, what do you mean?
That's right. So then a wheelchair, okay? Wow.
We can
Where's
put in
my
your
damn bench?
multi-generational swing. that you
That's
want.
right. That's right.
Right.
But no, but I really think that we don't need another park, especially back there.
A tractor
trail-
tire swing. Tractor
trail-
tire swing.
There you go.
I'll take it.
Sonny,
Okay.
I lost my dentures.
Okay. Okay, Brad, can you give me some guidance here as far as a motion or?
Yeah, so I think what I'm sensing is there wasn't a lot of discussion regarding the very first small thing, the recommended connection from the end of the cul-de-sac into the trail. What I'm hearing is, by not hearing anything, is that, yeah, that makes sense and you agree with staff. So that's part of the recommended action. And then it would be a motion to either recommend cash in lieu for this project or recommend that there is a park dedication of land in order to accommodate whatever trail connection.
Okay. So would anyone like to make a motion?
Sharon, can I make another comment?
Sure.
Jessica, can you put that slide back up of Hennepin County? Or is that
Google.
that one? Is that live? If you click on the map layers button and open that up. And then, so this is a photo, essentially a photograph of what that woodland looks like now up in the northwest corner of that property. And then, yep, drop that where it says select a year, drop that box down and go down to 2000 and click on that. And that's what that looked like in the year 2000.
It's still
And-
black and white, Tom.
Well, it is. And you know, yeah. Back when some of you weren't even, well, you were all born then, but not by much. Yeah. If
Just
if
a
you
baby.
see, like we always say in Corcoran, if you stop mowing the lawn, pretty soon it turns into woods. And so a good share of that woods that you see there has grown up in the last 20 years. I think that there's it's just smaller. This little corner that has been woods there is of significant value. It's trees that have been there for a long time. It's not something that has sprouted up since they quit farming in the 1950 or 1970. And so that's of some significance. And Corcoran doesn't have very many of those spots. And so it's hard to let that go. It's hard for me to let that go. Because the next, if that gets developed, then that will go. And there is no tree ordinance in Corcoran. If we don't own it, an owner, somebody before they put it on the market can cut that whole woods down and then it's gone. I really, I swing back and forth. It's not on our park plan. It's really small. But it is not without value for Corcoran. And to have it, it costs some money. We don't have to do anything with it now, or even during my lifetime, which isn't all that long. But John and Alicia don't have to do anything in their lifetime either. So yeah, that's just kind of where I am on it.
So you're considering keeping it as a park that's for preservation purposes?
Yes.
So a preserve.
A preserve. And the hikers there who are hiking the trail that will find their way in, and they'll walk a trail in. And
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that. It's not ADA accessible, but folks will find their way.
Well, just to clarify, what you're saying is that we should think about if we can take that section for park dedication to preserve, because it's a nice chunk of land, basically, right?
Because it is one of those few natural, native areas that's left in Corcoran.
And you're not necessarily saying that we would definitely put in that gray trail on that other.
No.
That could be a future.
Not at this time. No.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, we hardly ever put it. We've got trails up at Bellwether that we have put in, but it came in at the time of development.
Okay.
And it was, and we'll probably put in some more in other places, but.
Okay. And then how much control do we have over, like, we'll take just this chunk here with the trees?
Well, that's that would be negotiated. I mean, that would be up to negotiation. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
So for my own clarification, because of the map we are looking at, how far do those single family homes at this point come up into the tree line going north? You see the farm field there?
Yeah, from 10 to north.
On the south, the south side is the farm field, and then it goes into the trees. How far into, how much is that going to be gone already anyway from those townhouses?
Almost to the top of the water pumping station.
Okay, about where the arrow is sitting right now.
Yeah, pretty close. Yep.
Yeah, where that other little rectangle is.
Yeah.
Okay, so going east and west across the top of that rectangle. So it's really that smaller chunk of trees.
Yeah.
And that is the good stuff. That is the older woods. Yeah.
Okay. And then the other trees will be gone also.
Yeah.
Right on the east side of that farm field, all those trees will be gone also.
Yes.
Yes.
So that whole kind of L-shaped chunk that looks like Florida to me, kind of would be good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's just that
Well-
small chunk, and that small chunk is how many acres?
I would say it's 2.5.
Okay, but they're offering all of it into the swamp, correct? And I'm sorry, I'm going to shut off a phone that's ringing.
Outlot C is what, almost is 9.5 acres, 9.6 acres.
The whole thing is correct?
The outlot C,
Right.
yeah.
9
where
and 3, isn't it 2 separate blocks? One's 9 and one's 3.
One's,
Mine says 961 on
Nine.
both.
Yep, outlet C is 961 as presented.
So that's that whole upper section,
okay,
correct?
yeah.
Am I
think so.
correct?
Commission members, Chair, this is David Knabley with Civil Site Group. I'm the civil engineer on the project, working with Beth Houston. I can give you a little bit more input on that sizing if you'd like. Yeah, so Outlot C is about 9.61 acres. The portion that would be deeded over kind of includes all of the wetland out to the lake and then that portion of woods that you guys are discussing. And that's the upland area there is about like 2.8 acres or so.
Where
Of
the
the
trees
upland
are,
area
correct?
that's left. Yeah, that's the majority of the upland areas where the trees are, correct.
And that's 2 point something?
It's about 2.8, yeah,
Okay, out of the 961.
yes.
Okay. So,
And the rest is wetlands,
Correct, the rest is wetlands.
which
So
are
kind of a-
valuable as well.
but unbuildable.
Yes.
Thank God.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Some of us are woods people and some of us are wetlands people. Yeah.
Some are both.
Some are both. Yeah.
And another little piece of feedback too, on the discussion, I guess you're moving off of the discussion about putting the trail along the wetland itself. But the wetland and the wetland buffer, if you look at that image of the trees, is actually about like 10 to 15 feet into the trees itself is where the
Yeah.
actual wetland delineation line goes. So if you wanted to put a trail along the wetland, you're going to be into the trees anyway.
Okay.
To be able to put that in there. So
Okay.
just some food for thought.
Just different
Oh.
trees.
Wooded wetland.
Madam Chair, this is Beth Houston. May I also add something?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. Mr. Martins mentioned the trail coming off the end of the cul-de-sac. And I would just like to say that there's a part of me that feels it's a bit redundant to take, we have an off-road trail that both the Bass Lake Crossing neighbors and these neighbors in the single family homes or in this in the Applewood can walk along 74th and access the trail right there. And I just feel that a trail coming off that cul-de-sac isn't necessarily, it seems redundant because it's like we have two trails running down to the point. And now we're potentially not even going to put a trail on the point. So that's just our thoughts. Is it necessary to put a 20-foot easement through along those grades and when we already have access up on 74th?
And we're also currently not proposing any trail in the cul-de-sac itself. So there's just sidewalk in there that was, the trail itself runs along 74th all the way from the Cook Lake crossings all the way down to Brockton Lane. The trail runs that way and then it ties into the trail running north-south. So we don't, it seems a little redundant to have the connection through the cul-de-sac itself. And the residents of the cul-de-sac can access the trail just as easily as the residents of Bass Lake Crossing through 74th Street.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Tom, did you want to make a motion?
Yes.
How's it feel?
How do you like it? How do you like it?
Well, okay. we should ask for what we want, and we are a recommending body. We're not making any decision. We're simply passing our feelings on to the city council at this point.
Yes.
My motion would be to take the trail as it's laid out in the plan and to not require that a trail from the cul-de-sac into Outlot C, and that the city should take Outlot C as a, well, most, I don't want the city to own that drainage pond, right down between the housing units and the big building there. It looks to me like that's all in Outlot C, but
Is
to
it?
negotiate,
Can someone answer that?
I don't think it is.
isn't it? I can't quit. I can't.
It's
Chair,
part of
commission
L-
members.
Yeah.
This is David Knable again. Sorry
Yeah,
to keep jumping in, but
No,
yeah, currently how Outlot C is laid out, we did include all of the pond as part of Outlot C, that 9.61 acres, but we
Okay.
would propose to create a new outlot for the pond itself. And that would stay as part of the development.
yeah,
And then the remainder of that, and that the pond area, it's about like 1.5 acres. So there'd be about 8 acres left
okay.
of Outlot C that could get dedicated as the park. And the developer's willing to do that.
Good. Yeah, that seems, I
Good to get that.
I would go for that, to include that in the motion.
I would agree.
May I get a second?
I second
I
that.
want to hear Tom's motion again.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you get, Jessica, did you write that down?
I'm trying to navigate the
Okay.
controls here.
Or Brad?
Part one.
Okay, go
Part-
ahead. 'cause I have a-
Part one is to accept the trail modification on the west side of the property.
Mhm.
Okay, part two would be to not require a trail connection through the end of the cul-de-sac.
Correct.
And part three would be to take the land in Outlot C, the 8 acres as negotiated for parkland.
I know we're looking for a second, but my question would be, why can't it be why does it have to be all about Lot C? Maybe we only are asking for the 3 acres in lieu of. And the rest is theirs.
Yeah, because there's a lot of marshland that will never be built.
Well,
Yeah. So
The-
why take? Or would that be eliminated? Would be eliminated from the dedication fee, right? We're only giving them credit for the 3 acres.
Oh, okay.
Correct?
Yeah. Yeah,
That is correct. Okay.
I believe that's true.
Technically, it would be all of ours. Ours meaning the cities,
Yeah.
but the 3
We
acres.
can't, it's not fair to the developer to say, we wouldn't take only marshland as a park, and if we're going to take some of that as a park, then we could just as well take the whole thing. And marshland as part of the park is not a bad thing. If we
Agreed.
someday we wanted to develop it, we could put a boardwalk out and put a observation deck out there and go for it, after the city wins the lottery.
And then when it dries up.
Cook Lake is actually one of the better quality lakes in the area.
It
in
is, I
terms of
heard
water
that.
quality.
Yeah, it's a healthy lake
Healthy lake.
because of the buffer, probably.
So that's my motion, those 3 parts.
Okay, could I get a second?
Sorry, I missed part of that.
I'm looking for a second to Tom's motion.
Okay, if it fails, I'll make another motion. Then we do the first 2 parts. Then we vote to take the trail as modified on the west side, and then we remove the cul-de-sac restriction from the trail easement at the end of the cul-de-sac.
I'll second that.
Okay. Roll call vote. Oh, do we need more discussion? Anyone?
I just wanted to clarify that this is in lieu of taking park dedication funds, correct?
The having the trail on the property does reduce the amount of park dedication funds that's there. That trail there already exists physically, was put in by the previous developer, so.
Okay,
Okay.
and do we have that estimation, Brad, of 400,000 is what we're talking about here, roughly?
Well, let me just clarify, Commissioner Anderson, what I'm hearing is you're talking about, yep, the trail is as is fine.
Yep.
And no connection, but your motion that does nothing to address the park dedication at this point yet. Is that correct? Because we still would need to either decide cash in lieu or acreage of land.
And cash in lieu on the development as a whole. Yeah.
Okay, so the motion, just to clarify that, then it's to accept the trail modification as presented here, not require the connection to the cul-de-sac, and take cash in lieu.
Yeah. Thank you.
Is that a different motion?
That's my second. What's motion restated and clarified.
And amended? Okay.
Yeah.
And Val,
yeah.
you're still good seconding
I think
that?
you still.
I'm still good seconding that.
Okay. All right.
Can I ask a question? Sorry. The
Yes.
trail modification. So what you mean by that is basically the red section outlined there,
Yep.
not the gray section, or are we including that?
That is correct. Red section only.
Okay.
So just not where your mouse is. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so if that's the modification, we're modifying it from what would have included that gray. Or am I confused?
No, I'm with you. Are we keeping the gray part or not keeping the gray part?
Not keeping the gray part.
Okay, so what are we modifying exactly?
It was a modification of what was proposed 2 months ago,
Which is, okay.
which was the trail running up the cul-de-sac and through.
Oh, okay. All
Okay.
right, yep, I got it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. Yep. All right. Roll call vote. Anderson,
Aye.
Christensen,
All right.
Dugan,
Aye.
Huffman,
Aye.
Meister, aye. Nybo,
Aye.
Streller. Judy?
Did we lose her?
I think we
Bueller.
lost her.
She fall out of her chair?
She's watching TV.
She just has
No,
to
night.
unmute. Judy, if you
Okay.
want to unmute.
To get to the meat raffle.
Yeah, I'm not even seeing her. Is anybody?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh,
Oh,
Okay.
they are.
I said aye.
we didn't
Okay.
hear ya.
We didn't hear you. Okay, motion passes. Okay. We're on to the Franzen preliminary plat.
All right. So I have slides for this one. This one we were
Yay.
planning to use Kendra's anyways. Oh, and apparently we're going to start at the very beginning. Can you guys see
You're
my
doing
screen?
good, Jessica.
The technology issues are my favorite part. So
Oh, it's fun.
We like watching you struggle rather than me.
Same.
fair
Usually
enough.
3.
Okay. Okay, so we really are going to start at the very beginning. Okay, so Franzen Estates. So the request is for a 3-lot subdivision. Currently there's 1, so it'd be adding 2 more. It's guided rural / ag residential and zoned rural residential. In 1993, the city approved a subdivision to carve a 10-acre lot from the Franzen 40 acres. That included a 60-foot road easement, the length of the new 10-acre parcel. The city also acquired additional right-of-way at the end of Larson Road. This is the property. Kind of looks like an upside-down L. Located right here. You can kind of see it. The reason it's coming to the Parks and Trails is because this open space park that you guys have on the 2040 comp plan just kind of encroaches on it, that northern part of it. Oop. Here is a better look at it. It kind of encroaches like right here approximately. Like I said, the Parks and Trails map shows a search area for the community open space park on the north end. Park dedication for this would be 4% of the land area or 0.8 acres on the 20-acre site. Or you can choose to accept cash in lieu of the land for the 2 new lots, which would be a total of $9,256. The staff recommendation for this one is cash in lieu of land for the 2 new lots. The reason being the northern part of it is a better option, in our opinion, for an open space park than taking the 0.8 acres. So it is a conversation amongst you guys on what you would like to do. And if there's a certain map that you'd like me to have up that helps more, just let me know.
Okay, any discussion?
I think that makes sense. It's
Yep.
0.8 acres. You really can't do much with that anyways.
Yeah, I concur.
The circle's movable a little bit.
But you're getting 9 from the other guy.
The chair recognizes Mr. Anderson.
Jessica, can you put the map back up?
I sure can.
So for those of you who haven't been doing this for a million years, this the property to the north of this is the Relke property. And there was a day when Corcoran very seriously, that's a 126 acre parcel, seriously considered making that an open space park. That would have been the big city park back in those days. And it was going to be done in several phases. And the first phase was to create the city maintenance building, just a little bit off the map here, just to the north and to the west on 19. And that happened. And then the city got cold feet after that. And so that never happened. But that, I still kind of miss that. I dreamed of that park. That it would have been so cool. I mean, it'd still be this huge pile of money, but it would have been very, very cool. If we look at the parcel that we're talking about now, right to the west of that, these are 5 just to the west there at the northwest corner. There's several 5-acre lots. This is not, there's nothing useful for parkland there. We're not going to buy out somebody else's lot, especially since one of them is John Hamilton's house. We're not going to go after that. So yeah, no, it's this.
Yeah, that's fair.
Absolutely is cash in lieu of land on this one. Yeah.
Agreed. So was that a motion, Tom?
Yes, that was a motion.
Or
Yeah.
just a history lesson?
Hey, it was just my comments and a little history. Why that's there and what that's about. I get, I'm getting old enough. I get sort of sentimental for old.
For bulk of it. I'll make a motion for cash in lieu of.
I'll
I'll
second it.
second. Jinx. I'll second.
Okay, roll call vote. Anderson,
Aye.
Christensen,
Aye.
Dugan,
Aye.
Hoffman,
Aye.
Meister votes aye, Nybo,
Aye.
and Streller.
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes. New business, there is none.
And actually, we have one more item, the memorial bench discussion.
Oh, that's
very
right. We have to
near
go
and dear
back.
to my heart, so.
Yes, thank you. Okay, Jessica, I think you were gonna handle that one.
I am indeed. Let me pull up the slide again. Hopefully this time is a little easier. Even though you guys love to watch me struggle.
We do.
I get it.
Fun.
Not this time though. All right, so memorial bench discussion. Some of you have heard about it a little bit. I recently had someone reach out. They're looking to put in a memorial bench. Oops, Alicia, I'm gonna mute you just because there's some feedback. Okay, so, oh, maybe that wasn't it.
Somebody else.
Might mute all of you guys. It's nothing personal. So I recently had someone reach out regarding a memorial bench in the memorial garden. Currently at City Hall, we have 6 benches. Well, not all of them are are necessarily in the memorial garden area. We've got 2 in your packet. It does show where they're located, or it should. Pause. Val says pause. I'm asking you to unmute so you can.
I did not get that. I only have just the one piece of paper.
I can pull it up on here.
It's cool. Yeah, or if you got a picture, great.
32.
Not, I don't think it's that big a deal for 6 benches. We can figure out where they are if you tell us.
It's not super hard to point them out on the map.
Because I think most of them are at City Hall, aren't they? And then one up front and.
So all 6 of them are at City Hall. So
Yep.
right now we've got one here. This is a bench. This is 2 chairs and a table. It's composite. This is granite. This is granite. This is granite. And this is granite. Or there's 2 on this side and 1 on this side. We also now have the one that was built by the Boy Scout here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lots of benches. In previous discussions before I existed here, it sounds like you guys had a conversation about, you know what, I think we probably have enough benches at City Hall. So that being said, I'm bringing it back to you because at this point I've got additional questions, and now I will transition back into this slide. So like I said, we currently have 6 at City Hall. Do you guys feel that there is a need for more benches at City Hall or in the Memorial Garden? And if so, is there a spot that you think it would be more fitting to have them? Additionally, is it a standard bench across the board? Right now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different kinds of benches out there. So it's a good variety, if you will. I'm kind of looking for guidance on if you want to start going in the route of having all the same bench when you're doing a memorial bench, or if you want to continue to allow the donor to pick the bench style. And then my final question, and this is more, I guess, guided if you guys don't want additional benches at the Memorial Garden, would having them along trails or at local parks, would that be something that you would be interested in doing? If that's the case, then I can bring it back to Public Works. We can have a conversation about some applicable spots. Obviously with City Park kind of being in the works for a potential remaster, we're kind of putting that one on pause, but you know, maybe Wildflower Park where there's 2 benches out there, maybe instead of one of those benches just being your standard bench, we change it to a memorial bench. If you're looking for staff suggestions, we are a little split on the staff level. Public Works would like to allow the donor to pick the bench. I think that having a standard bench across the board makes it a more seamless operation. I also think it is more cohesive as a park unit. I mean, if you have the same bench at Wildflower that you do at City Park, that you do, obviously the Memorial Garden, we're not going to be taking any benches out. Those are important to people, but moving forward, I would think that, in my opinion, one standard bench would be a good choice. If you're looking for a specific kind of bench, I'm looking more at a composite with a plaque. Like I said, it would have a cohesive unit. And then I would say that there are probably enough benches at the Memorial Garden. And I would also like to see them along the trails and at city parks, because that is a very common operation for many cities. After doing some research, I've checked in with some of my colleagues, learned about their memorial bench programs, and that seems to be pretty standard. So at this point, I'm gonna let you guys discuss, but let me know if you have any questions.
Okay, well, since I'm in charge, I'm gonna start. I believe there are enough benches at City Hall, and I've never actually seen anyone sitting on one unless we're gardening and tired. I would like to see a standard bench style, and I would love to see them along trails and at parks, because I think they get much more use.
I
in a park
concur.
with a plaque.
I agree.
Okay. Let's see. Should we go backwards? How about you, Judy? What do you think?
We got unmute here. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I think like you do, I think it's great to go along the with the parks and the trails and that kind of thing. I think we get lots more use out of them. As a standard bench, I think it would be great for us. Like Jessica said, it would be a smooth operation, but let's not forget the people that are dedicating them to, it's probably their loved one, or, you know what I mean? It means a lot to them. So they're going to want to sort of have a say in it, not just say, here, let me get this generic one. You know what I'm saying? Or unless it's just maybe a plaque. That's my thought on it. But I do like the placement of it anywhere else.
Okay.
Just to elaborate, if you don't mind, Chairmeister.
Yes.
So with other cities, they do generally have that standard style bench, and they've gotten really good turnouts with it. The plaque, I mean, definitely up for debate on what you guys want the plaque to look like, but I would, in my thought, it would be the same plaque, obviously different wording. The only issue with allowing people to continue to choose more varieties is that if you do have it along that trail path, if you have something like a granite bench, it might kind of look a little different than, at a memorial garden, it makes a little more sense to have a granite bench, but along a trail path or next to a playground is my only concern. You've got that hard granite with the sharp edges. It might not be safe. It might not be used as frequently. Those are my only concerns with that, but.
Can they, yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Val. I'll wait.
Okay, go ahead.
I totally agree. They all should be the composite, and if no more of the granite or whatever for out in that area, unless it is a memorial garden type thing. So, because along there, you're going to have kids, dogs, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Maybe
slip
there's
and fall, hit their head.
an option that, okay, you're showing the picture of the one there. Well, maybe there's an option of one that's maybe the same, but a little larger. And maybe there's arms in the middle, or along the way, where it looks the same, but there's a variation to it if they choose.
Right. That's my point. They're going to want to pick something out that's, yourself. Have you lost anybody lately? Yeah, we all have.
Yeah.
So you're going to go in there and you know what I mean? You're dealing with their emotions. You're not just dealing with the bench. You're dealing with emotions at this point in time. So they're going to kind of want to make it special is what I'm saying. And so we need to have an option available other than this is your standard bench and here's your plaque.
Could that
Is what
option
is the
be,
only thing
could that
that's what
option,
I'm wondering. What could we make it?
well, what if the option goes into the memoriam of it and and donation? So if they want
Yeah.
really special, then they say, and our donation, if you want to make it really special, then hey, here's your bench and your plaque, but we also donated this extra amount of money. And so it says that on the plaque, and a special donation given by in memorial of this person, or do you know what I mean?
So generally with the program, they pay for part, if not all of the cost of the bench. Depending on how you guys wanted it to go, there does need to be a maintenance-free slab underneath per Public Works, just so that it is easy to maintain.
That makes sense.
Oh God, I lost my last train of thought. So carry on.
Well, could they do a donation in lieu of making a bench more different or special? They can donate more money to the park.
That was my next.
And then it's on the plaque that they gave money, or a donation, this bench and a donation in memoriam of this person.
I will say there's
rather than
generally
having to have a special bench that's granite or whatever.
There's generally limited characters would be my only concern with the plaque. But
Gotcha.
any donation does have to go through city council, so it does get recognition. So
right,
that could definitely be pointed out during that portion of it. Otherwise, if they wanted it as part of the characters that are used for the plaque, I would be open to it, with the exception of any vulgarity, I guess.
Oh, I got a special one. Lion. I
Okay,
just feel
Jonathan,
like there should be an option out there, and what I'm saying is we should be prepared for that option.
maybe have two choices or,
Well, just the bench is great, if they want to have a bench, that's great, but if they want to go over the budget or whatever, then we should have an option of how we can elaborate
okay.
Could,
with
could we, could we differentiate the plaque materials or the plaque design itself?
I would be open to it. Again, with the operation side of I know that in the past, it had taken a very long time to get a bench donated because of all of the options that were a part of it. I mean, what kind of bench? And then if you're throwing in plaque materials, then trying to get costs from vendors, that's where it gets a little dicey. And this isn't necessarily the options that we would have to go with by any means. I'm just more looking for guidance from you guys if this is something you're interested in.
Right. To clarify my question, I was assuming that we have a standard bench, but acknowledging what Judy said is, would the plaque be something that would make it easier from a continuity standpoint to what you said, Jessica, but still allow them to have some differentiation in the bench? So a nicer, a good, better, best plaque.
It's entirely up to you guys. So if that's what you guys want, I would be open to looking at options of plaques and benches, and then they can kind of intermingle them, assuming that all of the plaques work with all of the benches. That would be the only continuity issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to see some continuity in the benches. I agree with you there.
Yeah.
Once again, it could be a 5 foot, it could be an 8 foot, where, what it's gonna fit or whatever they choose to spend. And like,
yeah,
I'd
try
like
to
to see them along the trails.
Same material. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, Phil, did you have any thoughts?
I like the idea of the same style of bench. I actually like stone, but I like something else.
Yeah.
It's not, you can always round the edges or something for a safety thing, but that's my thought, I guess. I like the idea of having them in parks. I don't think we need any more at City Hall.
No.
So yeah, I think that covers everything.
Okay, Tom, how about you? Mr. Anderson, unmute.
Let me say that the worst thing you can do is have somebody want to give a tree as a memorial. Terrible thing to do, because if you plant 10 trees, about 4 of them die. Nothing's worse than having a memorial tree that dies. It's just so a bench is it's really a nice, it is really a nice choice. We had a tree at church that was a memorial tree, and another tree fell on it and broke it. I mean, it was just awful. It was so sad. So a bench is really a good choice. It's the memorial garden. It feels really wrong to say now, but you can't put any more memorial benches there. It's no, it doesn't need any more. It doesn't really need any benches because nobody ever sits down out there. At least now, excepting occasionally in the hot weather if somebody's gardening there. But I think I would like to have a committee of the Parks and Trails Commission pick 3 additional sites and say there are 3 sites, and when they're filled, then it's filled. But do it in that sort of order.
Within the Memorial Garden?
In the Memorial Garden. Pick a couple more, 2, 3 more, find some nice sites. It's a fairly large, we could just, even if they're sort of bad locations, that's not all bad, because then if you don't like that location, then how about putting it in one of the parks, City Park or Wildflower, or there'll be another, a new park coming right along. The problem is with the new parks, some of the old timers that are about to get benches have no association with that particular park. If you don't live in,
Ravinia,
you don't know anything about Wildflower Park. So it
Mhm.
doesn't have much appeal. The park that you know about is City Park, which would be great, which would be fine. And my sense is that the benches in Wildflower Park might look different than the benches at the Memorial Garden, just because it's a different kind of park. It's a park for little kids. And so maybe there should be Crayola colors, or something that sort of goes with the park, with the playground stuff. I don't know,
I will note currently the benches that are out there are the ones that was shown on the screen. I think I pulled the exact same bench because you guys
Yeah.
actually approved it.
Well, they're nice benches.
Yeah. But to have some where we can, to say, to kind of have a style per park, but say that here's the style, and you can do it in brown, or you can do it in green, or you can put the arm rests on it to make it a few little modifications so that you can customize it. That seems like not, well, anything you do that's not just, it's that, take it or leave it, is going to be more administrative work.
My thought on it was, I guess when I was thinking it, on a trail, if it's on a trail, it's going to be, maybe in the brown tones or whatever. But yes, I agree with
Yeah.
you. At a park, and the park has a theme, and that's how the memorial bench is going to be. That's not a problem with a color change, but maybe the same style.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're kind of all over the place. Could I just ask Jessica, the people that would like a bench, would they like it in the Memorial Garden, and do they want like the stone big?
We hadn't quite made it that far. Like I said, this discussion definitely took place before I came to be here. So during the time of discussion with her, it was the Memorial Garden because there is no other option. We hadn't made it to the type of bench yet. So at this point, I guess I'm just kind of trying to gauge your guys' feelings on that, and then we could kind of go from there. If you guys are okay with another one, and we can pick a location in coordination with Public Works, and they still feel like, that would be a good spot, then we could move forward. I will note with the variety of benches and having those options, every modification has to get checked with the vendor on an updated quoted price. So with all of those adjustments, it's a lot easier to get, a quote at the beginning of the year or something, and then have them hold true for maybe 3 months or something like that. So those are the only administrative side things that I'd also like to add.
You guys don't need any more stuff on your plate.
Jessica, I did have a question. Do most cities have the cost of the the donation that gets for a bench covers the cost, and that's all, or is it a larger donation that the cost comes out of?
Generally, it covers the cost of the bench, and then some of them include the concrete slab. They usually do concrete slabs from what I've seen. I checked in with quite a few places, Mendota Heights, I think I did Egan, Plymouth, Maple Grove. I've got quite a few if anyone would like to see their worksheets, but.
Jessica, do they do mostly a generic bench across the board, or do they give options as well?
I would say 90% of them have a standard bench. The only one that didn't was Fairmont. I know someone in their public works department, and he said that they let people pick. So.
Oh, which is a tiny little town. Yeah. Okay. I like the idea of having them no more at the city hall and spreading them out. There's not very many benches at Corcoran City Park, and nor even at Corcoran Lions Park. It'd be kind of cool to have some permanent ones there.
We don't actually own Lions Park, so that likely wouldn't be an option.
Shucks deluxe. Well, still Corcoran City Park, those, it would be fun to have some benches around there. There's one bench that's, like west facing on the east side of the kids' playground, but that's about the only bench I can think of in the whole park, other than the bleachers. So, I mean,
that would likely be on pause until the whole remaster of City Park, just because you don't want to put a bench out there and then take it out and then
bulldoze it. But no, I guess I am understanding of the idea of having all the same benches. It just makes sense. And if they want to snap it up by putting an extra fancy plaque in there and then donating to the park, then that's great, I think.
Or a color variety maybe, because that shouldn't change cost too bad on that type of material. If it fits into our concept.
A recliner option.
A glider.
Cup
Recliner.
holder.
Cup
I
holder.
like a good glider. Is that good, Jessica?
That is the guidance that I need. So just so that I have the right information, we're saying no more at the Memorial Garden, which, to be clear, people can still get like the bricks. That's still an
Yeah,
option.
that's true.
So no more at City Park or at the Memorial Garden. You guys are on board with having a standard bench style, with the exception of like maybe some are longer, some have arms. I'm probably not going to look into a glider, to be completely honest with you. Different colors are also
Cup holder.
options. Maybe.
I got one more question.
Yes, go ahead.
As we discussed of not having any more at City Hall, which I'm fine with in this mode of thinking, but with the nursing home, assisted living, whatever going in next door, do you think more people might use it?
Maybe.
You know, I don't know how they'll get there, wheelchair or.
Long walk.
They'd have to go through a parking lot.
With
so
it
far.
next door, I just didn't know. That was
So
just,
maybe another option, we put the benches in the Memorial Garden on hold for right now and then circle back as St. Therese becomes more
More
established.
Mhm. Yeah.
So maybe I'll put it on like the end of the year. We can do like an update on the bench situation, but right now we are not accepting benches.
yeah. Or even a
And then
year.
I'll continue to move forward, getting not necessarily quotes, but different styles put together. And then sounds like you guys are all on board with along trails and at other parks.
Yes.
Yep.
Correct.
Wonderful. That is all I needed from you on that.
Okay, excellent. Okay, active planning commission information only. Hope you read your report. Recreation coordinator update.
Okay, so I have been very, very busy. That's probably why the attachments did not make it into your packet. And from the bench discussion, and my apologies, it's been chaos with everything ramping up. Baseball starts next week. Hard to believe, we are already mid-April.
Wow.
And naturally, I got you guys your numbers because I knew everyone was very curious. We've got 48 residents, 198 non-residents, which puts us at 24% Corcoran
Ooh.
residents, which is much higher than previous years at 10 or 8. So I'm very excited about that. I did get a lot more Ravinia residents than previous years, which was extra exciting because it means that the information is making its way out there, whether it's the newsletter, social media. I love it no matter what. So I actually got better registration numbers than I had budgeted for, which was nice because it means that I can also get better and more equipment because of that. So it allows the program to grow a little more and to replace the stuff that maybe is not in great condition. Like I said, it starts next week for machine pitch. It's going to be practices. Otherwise, T-ball and coach pitch start the following week. I just got the apparel. Yes, Val.
Is that are they full then? I mean, that adds up to about 250-ish. Is it
Yes.
full or is there more openings?
Nope,
I
that's full. That's full.
Wow, awesome. Good job.
Thank you. The other thing I'd like to share with you guys, not necessarily looking for like recommendation or anything like that, just to keep you guys in the loop, we do have a preparedness plan because COVID still does exist. Masks are required for T-ball and coach pitch, and then as well as on the bench for machine pitch. However, with machine pitch, the kids are a little easier to ensure that they're social distancing. Additionally, they're using a larger field, so it allows for that social distance. I have had some people who are not super thrilled about that. Unfortunately, there's not a lot I can do. Per the guidance from CDC and MDH, it's a rock and a hard place, so there's not much I can do. The exception to that is if they do get a doctor's note, I can accept that. But I haven't had a lot of backlash, just enough. Other things, like I said, social distancing is going to be very prevalent, and I'm talking to coaches actually on Saturday. I've got a coaches meeting at 8 a.m. So I will be sharing all of this with them as well. Otherwise, weekly disinfections. So I am going to be out at the parks disinfecting with hospital grade disinfection or disinfectant when applicable. So if anyone would like to join me in disinfecting helmets, I definitely invite you. It'll probably be Friday mornings.
Good to know.
So let's hope that the weather's nice. If the weather is not nice, then I'll probably wait until Monday morning. Other things, I'm still doing EOC, Emergency Operations Center items, so I'm still attending meetings. And I also was tasked with the cleanup day preparedness plan. In case anyone isn't aware, cleanup day is Saturday, March 1st. I believe it's 8 a.m. to noon.
May 1st?
I'm sorry, Saturday, May 1st. Even looked at the calendar. I believe it's 8 to noon. It should be in your newsletter.
Yep.
And if I had one in my cube, I would be able to tell you. But I was in charge of the preparedness plan. Again, masks are required if people are going to have their windows down or if they're getting out of their vehicle. We're also going to have hand sanitizer, and I will be there if you'd like to see my smiling face. I took care of your Parks and Trails packet, less the attachments apparently. We submitted for the Hennepin County Youth Sports Grant again. This one is the equipment grant we have submitted in the past. If you recall, I believe it was 2 years ago, we got a new lawnmower. It was part of the capital improvement plan. So was this one. So we just submitted for $10,000 of the approximately $1,000 for the lawnmower. I put that in the mail today. So fingers crossed on that. Really hopeful. I handled a noise waiver for the pavilion at City Park. It's for a birthday party. They would like to have a DJ there. It's from 11
day?
I feel like I shouldn't say. It's gonna be cleanup day. That's the best I'll do for you. And it's from 11 a.m. to 4. So I would imagine that it's not going to get too much backlash, but
I'll just make sure Bob Kraus is at the bar. That'll be okay.
He'll be happy and won't hear it.
Okay.
I figure it's in a good time frame. It's not like it's super late at night, and I think it's a 60th birthday party, so I can't imagine it's gonna get super rowdy.
You never know.
I was just saying, I don't know.
So that's going to be going to council on the 22nd. Another item that's going to council that I put up is a leash ordinance exemption. A man wants to tag American woodcocks on City Hall property because he has a permit through the U.S. Department of Interior. So if you're interested in learning more about that, it's in the packet. I've been in charge of social media still, so almost anything you see on social media is me. If you have any suggestions or see any typos, please let me know immediately. Soccer, again, I have numbers for you. We are already up to 166 registrations. To put it in perspective, it's been open not even 2 weeks, so that's insane. 56 residents and 110 non-residents, which puts us at 51% Corcoran residents currently.
There we go.
I don't think that's gonna
Nice.
stay. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, but I got high hopes. And the final thing that's not actually shown on the PowerPoint is Step To It. If you haven't seen yet, I actually got us involved with Hennepin County's Step To It challenge. You can register during the month of April, and I think they even let you register into May. But essentially, you log your steps or other activities that can be converted into steps. And you log them from May 1st to the 28th. And the most active community, most active residents, those are the folks that can win prizes such as Twins tickets. So if you haven't registered, I would highly recommend it. It gets people outside, especially after being cooped up during COVID. That was a lot of talking. Like I said, I've been very busy. And we also had a month off. So if
I have a
anyone had any
question.
questions. Yes, ma'am.
Of course, right? Well, first of all, what you have up is different than what I'm looking at, so like
it?
on, yeah.
Well,
Like,
I've added some things since.
okay, so my
putting this together.
question is, what does a leash ordinance exemption have to do with birds? Wasn't it some ducks or something?
So
Woodcocks.
I apologize. He uses a dog, a pointer, and he wants the dog to be off leash, and the dog doesn't go more than 100 yards, he said.
Oh.
So the dog goes, finds the hen with the little baby birds, and
Sure.
then he captures them with a hand net, which sounds a lot more aggressive when I'm saying it, but I'm probably not putting it into the right terms.
Yeah.
And then he puts the little band on them. The information gets used by the DNR and then one other government agency, and he could actually get us the information back too. So I thought that might be kind of interesting.
No, that's kind of cool. Is that all over Corcoran, or where is he going to be doing this?
The permit, it's going to be a special use permit, so it would just be in the back of City Hall.
Oh, cool.
He was also interested in Bellwether, but with it not having public access right now, that open space park, we figure let's stick with City Hall right now and
Sure.
then
See how that goes.
Yep. So
cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Lots of stuff.
I hate to make you keep talking, Jessica, but are you going to talk about the pandemic response update?
I actually ended up including that in the recreation coordinator update. That was just the
okay.
Yep. And
good.
I believe I took the Bellwether Boardwalk RFP off of the main agenda, but not off of the enhanced agenda. So if you see that on there,
okay,
that
cool.
is why.
All right. Miscellaneous reports. City Council report. Mayor McKee, are you still with us?
I am. Hey everyone.
Thank you. Hi.
Thank you. How's it going? It's been a while since I've seen everyone here.
Yes.
A few
We
months.
skipped a month. Yeah.
So there's been quite a lot going on with the council since we last met. Obviously, quite a lot in the packet there, but I'll kind of highlight some of the bigger things. We had Right Hennepin for the substation actually on the agenda. Then it was tabled and since withdrawn. So that's how long it's been since we've met. We kicked off some work sessions for residential zoning ordinance updates. Had one the other week, have another one this coming Thursday. And then soon after, we'll have a joint meeting with the Planning Commission to discuss kind of their ideas on that. We appointed Meredith Wu to another term on the Planning Commission, and obviously appointed Val and Judy to another term on the Parks and Trails. We heard the annual reports from both the Planning Commission and Parks and Trails. Worked on, I'm very hopeful, a solution to the code issues at Westside Tire, and we came up with a plan. I think that's going to get that resolved, hopefully sooner than later. Finalized our 2021 mission, vision, values, core strategies, and short-term goals. Came up with a whole series of work session schedules. If you've been paying attention to some of the council meetings, we've pretty regularly been having work sessions at 5:30 beforehand, and I think that's helping out a lot with just being able to tackle the amount of stuff we have on the agenda lately. Couple other big things. We've discussed Northeast Corcoran water supply planning and are continuing to do that, figuring out the potential water tower and treatment site. Extended a job offer to Clay Decker for a full-time police officer position, which he took. Appointed new members to the Charter Commission. Most recently, approved final plat and final PUD for Tavera, which was a big one. And had a brief discussion on code enforcement and kind of priorities going forward and potential changes either to code or to what we're prioritizing with how we handle code enforcement. And one other thing, we approved the job description and authorized staff to proceed with recruitment for a finance manager for City Hall, or at City Hall. And that's about it.
The finance manager now. Who
We
handles
don't have
that?
one. So
who handles
it's the duties are kind of split up amongst Brad, Jess, Jessica, other Jessica, and I think kind of
Joe.
departmentally, and Joe, yep.
It also has been, everyone has been kind of taking a lot of it. It's been Michelle and Shauna too on occasion. So it's definitely a well-needed position.
There you go. And so
Absolutely.
that's why we went forward with it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Garden Club report. Tom?
Well, we'll include tree giveaway. Jessica did her usual outstanding job with herding everybody who wants trees to fill out the form properly, and followed up all the trees. Essentially, all the trees are gone, all 600 of them. So, and they will be in town next week, and so we are expecting tree giveaway to be April 24th, Saturday. And I think the plan will be to do it similar to the way we did it last year over at City Park. We'll do it in the
Next shelter?
in the shelter. Yeah, under the shelter. And either we'll carry them down or we'll have people come up, kind of depending on what the status is. Can we have people get out of their cars this year, Jessica? Last year we didn't.
I would say as long as you have them masked up, that should be fine.
Okay.
I will note we probably should have a preparedness plan, which
Okay.
I would assume falls to me, so I can get that hammered out next week.
Or send me, if is there a blank form that I can fill out, or a hint that I could do? Do you have last year's?
I don't think we had one last year.
Probably not. Okay.
I can send you the template.
Yeah,
They have templates on the Department of Health's website, I think.
Okay.
But I can send that over. Otherwise, if you want me to whip one together, I think it took me an hour maybe for cleanup day, and this is far less involved.
All right. All right. Well, I don't want to be giving you work that I could do. It's so that's always a fun day. If a couple of you have helped with that in the past, and if you'd like to, send me an email, and we'll schedule you in
I'll
there.
help.
Thank you, Alicia. That would be great. I should write some of this down, or I'll forget.
What date is it? Do you know?
It's Saturday, the 24th, and we'll probably do it 9 to 12, or 10 to 12, 9 to
May
12,
or
10
April?
yeah, end of April. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the best time to plant a tree.
I can do that.
Yeah, I'll give you the details. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and usually I think what we did last year was we said about 30 an hour come, and then we can get everybody in or for 30 every half hour. Then we get everybody in 2 hours, and we don't have people bunching up. Worked really well.
It's right in my backyard, so I'm happy to
It
walk
is.
over and help.
Great, good, thank you.
Great. Thanks, Tom.
Yeah.
All right, then Park Dedication Fund. I don't think we have anything for that. Yeah.
Nothing major. You can see that it did get updated a little bit. Joe had some time to get that a little more updated, and you can see that the Grove Nursery charge got moved over into the Memorial Garden. So we're good there.
Okay. Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, it was a big concern for everyone for a while.
Okay, other business, none. And the liaison calendar. Is everybody good with that so far? Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. A
So
second?
moved.
Second? Sorry. Second? Okay. Roll call, Anderson,
Aye.
Christensen,
Aye.
Dugan,
Aye.
Hoffman,
Aye.
Meister, aye, Nybo,
Aye.
and Streller.
Aye.
Good job, everyone.